Cheers.
Welcome back to Kidman Chronicles.
Today we'll be talking about a little bit of autism awareness, raising kids gender neutral, and today we have a special guest, Alex Nieves, South Florida motorcycle racer.
So introduce yourself, tell us about you, tell everybody what you do, who you are, and educate people on racing motorcycles.
Well, yeah, my name is Alex Nieves. Been racing motorcycles for a while now, but took a 10-year off and came back, for fun. Things worked out for the better, so having a good time doing it.
So how's it going? How's the career going? What
does
it take?
How many competitions have you won?
I've won a good amount this year. You know what I mean? So, I've done a lot of regional stuff here in Florida. We've done a little bit of Daytona work. We won a couple nationals out there. I have a young teammate, Christian Miranda. Westside Performance out here in Hialeah. We're a team that we've assembled, and like I said, just having a lot of fun, man. I started off, it started off as a track day thing and just wanted to get back in motorcycles, and from that it turned into, back full-blown racing.
Yeah, man, I remember when we went out to Devin's bachelor party, you were telling us that you want to get back into racing and all this.
That was a year ago.
Yeah,
a little bit over a year ago.
You do what you love. Keep chasing that dream, bro, because when you're gonna make it, represent all Hialeah people and represent all the Hispanics.
Absolutely.
And so what does it take to, like, for people that don't know anything about racing, like, what does it take to start out? What did you do? How does it work?
You have to be. Motorcycles isn't for everybody. You know what I mean? It's something that is very dangerous, but there are safe ways of going about it. You know what I mean? So first things first, I would always say, I do have a couple buddies who ride on the street. I do not knock it. But we are all aware of the dangers of riding in, especially in South Florida, with traffic, paying attention, and it gets crazy.
A couple friends. I'd say the last 5 years, 3 friends that passed away on motorcycles.
Yeah, no, it gets and 9 times out of 10, I won't necessarily say it's the rider or their abilities. It's more people not paying attention.
People not paying attention.
The traffic.
Yeah, just traffic. Or
it's not like being on a track where there's more safe.
It's a safe environment.
It's still a motorcycle, but it's safer.
But it's a safer environment where you don't got to worry about a car just popping up out of nowhere out of a blind side where you can't see them or anything. Someone that brakes automatic or just cuts you off. It's a safer environment on the track. And I agree. If you want to do something, if you want to race, take it to the track, be safer, do it in a safe environment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got a great organization down here on Florida Track Days. Tony West, he actually owns the Florida Motorcycle Road Racing Association. It's another league they have down here that they just started up a handful of years ago. It's going well. You know what I mean? I was actually glad to be a part of it this year. The guys, all 4 of the racers. You know what I mean? So shouts out to him, Tony West over there. And they have actually an organization where he has, it's called Florida Track Days. You can get, for example, you guys want to ride, they got bike rentals out there, they have gear, good shoes, helmets, you name it, they got it, you know what I mean? So, as a first time experience, they'll start you off with a coach, a rider coach. You'll start off in the beginner class and kind of, it's almost like working.
So they'll teach you how to ride a bike? Okay.
Well, most people that go,
kind of already
know.
They just want to get, like they just want to introduce you properly to the racetrack, so you're not out there going down the straightaway at 180 or 150 miles an hour.
You got a turn coming.
Yeah. So they slowly get you up to speed and teach you, the proper ways.
Is there any type of school to learn how to ride motorcycles or anything like that?
We are actually, through Florida Track Days, you can have, we do have small groups of guys. Actually, we have, we're trying to do something with our young rider, with Christian Miranda. I mean, we're trying to get him or get a couple people who will, we're trying to have him as a coach, so he could, help other riders and things like that. I mean, you can start off that way. There are other companies, other teams that offer that, you know what I mean? So, the racing community is awesome. Everybody helps out everybody, of course, on track. It's just like anything. We all want to beat each other. I mean, the kid and I love the kid to death, but we same difference.
Yeah.
I mean, on the track, we all know that's what, the goal is to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, the racing community is good. I'd like to say that, for the most part, is everybody helps everybody.
Yeah.
If you have a problem, let's say I were to crash and I need a part for my bike, anybody would really offer their part if they have a spare, or even take it off their race bike. You know, it's cool as shit.
I like that. I like that whole family community type of deal.
Absolutely.
when you're racing, because I watch. I don't know if you see Street Outlaws, but they do this whole team dynamic thing, and you really see it that they're there for each other. If one guy, he needed an engine, another guy is like, I got a spare. Let's put it on there and just build your engine back up. And they did that in like 30 minutes. And if they do that for you, man, I feel like that's great.
Well, this last race at Daytona, and they my bike broke down on Saturday. I wasn't able to compete on Sunday. My teammate and his father allowed me to get on his bike, which was my first time riding a smaller bike. I had the time of my life. And let me say, it's a 600, so it is a little, as far as horsepower, it's a little down. The weight is a little lower.
Yeah.
But the bike's fast as shit. I mean, we're clocking nice speeds around the banking. You know what I mean? So it still can be dangerous.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun.
So 2 questions. What made you get into racing, and what was the first thing you did to get into? Like, what was your first step?
As far as I could remember, my childhood. As far as I could think.
I can tell you that, man. I've known you for a long time, bro.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Father,
your father took you out on the bike.
Yeah, he would ride us around at baseball games. He would come with the bike at HA.
So you coming in on the bikes, bro.
Yeah, my dad would ride all the teammates and ride them around the neighborhood. Like around HA for fun, and then in the neighborhood, he'd do the same thing for us. You know what I mean? So I want to say for the majority of my life, I've been around them.
Okay.
But because I was so invested in the baseball, and that's where my heart and it still resides. It's kind of having I was very passionate about baseball. I'm just as passionate now. It's just with racing, it's kind of finding that new love, and then I kind of felt like, that's what I wanted to do in my life as I got older.
Yeah.
I didn't really get the opportunity to get on a bike till I was about 11 years old. So.
I used to be young, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. There's in the racing world, that's already a late start.
Really?
Wow.
Correct. I have buddies of mine.
So let's say for kids that are first starting, what's a good age to start, and as well.
Well, let them answer the other question.
What was the second question?
Well, getting involved, like I said, as far as back then, my father would come around the motorcycles. I knew I'd always want to be on one. I just never knew, it didn't until I got older. I didn't really tell my father, hey, I want to ride. But once I got, my cousins started getting dirt bikes in the neighborhood, and then, my aunt or my uncles, they wouldn't really take them to ride at dirt bike tracks. So it was just kind of like they were riding in the neighborhood or in the backyard. My aunt used to let me ride my cousins. It was a Honda. It was a XR70. It's like 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We used to flat track it. There's this thing called flat tracking where you'll go around in circles sliding the bike. I for sure wasn't sliding, but I was going around in circles around the tree and had the time of my life. And then from there, I told my father, hey, I want to get on one, and the rest was history.
Okay.
It all came from there.
Nice.
Yeah. It all came from there. So as a little kid, do they race like pocket bikes or something like that, or?
Here in the States. In the United States, it kind of never really has blown up. There's a lot of organizations right now. There's actually a guy down here in South Florida, Michael Correa. He's running a South Florida, it's like a South Florida mini GP series.
Yeah.
I think what he's doing for the kids is phenomenal. So shouts out to him. He's got a great program. If anybody's interested in getting involved with their kids or doing like a weekend thing, it doesn't necessarily have to be a competing or I want to win championships and things like that. You can get involved with your kid, and it's somewhere where they could kind of own in on their skills. You know what I mean? Like they ride at Opelika go-kart track, they do the Palm Beach go-kart track, and he's actually spreading out pretty much everywhere. I mean, he's got tracks in Orlando, Georgia, they've gone up there, so he's built a race series for kids, and not only for kids, but for the motorcycle enthusiasts. You guys never raced a motorcycle before, you could get on it's what is called a super motard, a dirt bike with race tires on it. You go out there and have the time of your life.
I'm down, bro.
Yeah,
bro.
We gotta do one of those. We did yoga today. We gotta do one of those coming up.
Bro, you know what? I would love for that. I would love for that to happen.
Let us know, and then we'll go out and we'll.
I want to say he has a bike rental as well. So it's just a phone call over. Make a phone call.
Yeah, bro. Let us know when, and we'll be there. Just let us know what weekend, and we're out there.
Absolutely.
That sounds legit, bro.
We go out there. We keep on promoting your stuff, and then promote our stuff out there and doing stuff that you do.
Yeah.
But as well, like you're saying, like they don't have these leagues just yet, like how they do with baseball. Baseball kids, they grew up as a little kid growing up playing baseball.
That's here in the States. overseas, like in Spain, Italy, and mostly those two, because those two are where, you know, when you go to a coffee shop, from what I have understood, I've never been there, so, you know, I'm kind of quoting somebody else right now, but as, you know, racing over there is like, you wake up in the morning, you go to a coffee shop, they're playing MotoGP on their TVs, you know, even if it's an older race.
I love watching these like MotoGPs and watching the drag races, because I'm a gearhead. I love cars, I love motorcycles. I can't get on because I most likely will die on it because my adrenaline is. I'm a little much.
No, I can't let you say that because you're only gonna go as fast as your, you know, not to be vulgar, but your balls will let you, you know.
Oh, trust me.
Like
no. In a car, I'll go.
Yes.
The thing is, my adrenaline goes up as the faster I go. The faster I go, the more adrenaline I get. So my thing is, I'm gonna go as fast as I can, and then I'm gonna let go. I'll most likely get to 160 because I've been to 160 in a BMW. In a motorcycle, I know it's different.
It's a whole different world.
Yeah, it is. But
you guys
my balls will let me get to there because I tell my dad, bro, let me race. I'll do it because I got the balls for it. You don't gotta worry about that. I can do it.
No, I'll tell you what though, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I feel safer on a motorcycle doing 150 than I do in a car. Ain't that
that's crazy.
That's crazy. But you're basically a professional though, bro. You race on the track and you know how to feel. You know the feel on a motorcycle.
Correct.
I don't think I can really say people that don't race and just are motorcycle enthusiasts and ride motorcycles. I don't think they know what it is to handle a motorcycle at your speeds, taking those curves and all that. I don't think they'll ever understand that.
I think here in South Florida, the fastest corners we have are in Homestead. Actually, I would want to say we race Homestead and Palm Beach. Homestead turn 1 and turn 10 diving off. We used the straightaways, the front and back straightaway. But then before NASCAR 1 or NASCAR 3, we kind of dive into the infield and use all the corners. And we're diving in. I mean, I'm 4th gear, 5th gear, pegged, almost redlining 140 to 160 miles an hour, and you just kind of throw her over and lean it over and get into,
That's the one thing I could never get that low, bro. Yeah. I could never get that low. So talk to us about those tires. How do they grip at those leans, bro?
I'll tell you what, it's definitely rocket science type of deal, but I can tell you what I do understand, a little bit I do, and so, it's the compounds they make them. For example, I can speak about the tires that I race, Pirelli. Pirelli's, it's all, even any tire manufacturer, it's all tire sensitive. I mean, air pressure sensitive. So, the less air you put, more grip you have. But sometimes for racing, it's not necessarily the case. But these tires are specially designed for this event. Like, you can't get on a street tire. I'm not saying you can't. I mean, there are guys who have done it, professionals who've gotten on street tires and race, at a club level, a regular regional level, and win races. You know what I mean? So it can happen, but what I'm saying is, the slicks that we run are, they're special compound and specially made for that.
Okay.
So we kind of go based off of, one of our bigger sponsors is Pirelli, with Mark 10 Motorsports, and Mark's, awesome guy. He kind of always, with every racer, he keeps everybody informed. So if you have any doubt or anything you want to talk about, he kind of fills you in, like, per tire, we have soft, medium, hard compounds. Sometimes the harder will be better than the soft, and it all depends on the ambience and everything, and just different, there's so many factors that go in. We kind of go based off of whatever he advises us to do, in all honesty.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a trusting.
Yeah, you gotta trust it. So we'll move on to the
before we move on. So anybody else you want to put out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Westside Performance. Jose over here in Hialeah, actually, he's got a nice shop out here, and he's he any motorcycle or dirt bikes, scooters, Harleys, ATVs, whatever it is, any motorcycle needs or anything like that, check them out.
Shoot out your Instagram handle, or where the people can find you or anything about you.
To be honest with you, I would have to look on my phone.
It's already happened to me. The other episode, bro. I couldn't remember my own. I said one and I was like, no,
you
said
I don't zero, you said 35? No, wait. It's maybe 36. It's 36.
Definitely. My Instagram is Alex_N for Nieves _JR_ again. That's my
All right,
Instagram,
for sure, man.
I actually, before we do move on, the kid I was talking about, Christian Miranda, I want to talk about him a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
We've had him. We actually had an experience as of lately. We actually were able to go race. Moto America is like the bread and butter of the United States. That's where all the faster guys go. And the kid did phenomenal. We went up there. I'm not gonna say we didn't have any expectations because with the kid himself, he was.
That's his nickname, the kid, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's
The
awesome.
kid.
Awesome
I
kid.
like
He's very mature and handles adversity or just about any kind of pressure. He handles it. The way. I mean, like I said, I'm 27 years old. He's 19, and he a lot of times gets confused with being a lot older, like my age, or you know what I mean.
So he's a mature kid. Yeah.
A mature kid, and he's one of our faster riders in South Florida. A lot of people take his quietness for the judging.
They underestimate him.
Correct. They underestimate him, or some guys kind of like speculate.
That's the best
We've
part
gotten
of
a lot of
sports,
heat. We've gotten a lot of heat this year because a lot of people feel like he's not as social. And it's. I think it has a lot to do with the pressures we've dealt with this year. You know what I mean? Because the kid's a great kid. You know what I mean? He's. Aside from being, we got two kids down here that are just those boys. It'd be awesome if the community could get behind them and kind of help both of them go race professionally, which is ours, Christian Miranda. We got another young kid named Max Anglis. That kid is a great kid, fast. Those are our future of our sport. Right now, they're at that age where they can go and be successful on the national level. They can be. We got another couple of younger riders that I love watching them ride. Fabian Alvarez. We got another one, Gabriel Da Silva. Those are like our second wave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to say they're still in high school. I want to say
still coming up
between the ages of like 15 and 18, and they're on 600s. They're flying.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So those are the kind of kids like I'd like to see. Everybody at least in South Florida show a little more support.
Yeah.
Instead of the whole. Sometimes things get a little, thrown around or like I said, the kid's quiet, or if he's working with a mechanic and he bats an eye, it's not that he's being, whatever, it's just they're working, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
All these kids want to go faster, and it's like they're all hungry, they're all...
Yeah, they all want to know what's going on with their bike, because you got to know what's going on with your bike 24/7.
I'll tell you what, for being 19, he's very knowledgeable. Back to the Christian Miranda, our rider, he's very knowledgeable. He whatever he doesn't understand, he asks all the right questions.
That's exactly the same way with baseball. You got to ask the right questions because you're not going to know everything.
Yeah, but you got to be eager.
You got to be eager to learn
everything.
And as well, like I don't know if this happens to you, but when you're riding a bike and you feel like you did something wrong, you correct it in the next bank, like in pitching. I knew I did something wrong and I threw a pitch. It came out bad. The next pitch I threw it again and I handled it and I threw it right. And I understood that what I did wrong.
It took you to understand it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And which is good. But, for example, back with Christian Miranda, him growing up, his brother and I grew up racing together. So it was always our dream to, make it one day in racing or be able to race on a national level. We talked about MotoGP and when our adolescence, not knowing what it really takes and things like that. Growing up, wanting to do all these things, and we see this kid that he has the potential to do it. His brother and I were,
we're for it.
Yeah, we're 100% for it. We back him up. We support him. He's, for example, when I got back into racing, I kind of almost, I'm not going to say used him, but I kind of went, like as far as mountain biking and training and things like that, I used him. He was the dangling carrot, you know what I mean? Like, we'll get into the trails and he'll set a pace and we just follow. I got another good buddy of mine, there was like a group of us that would mountain bike every day together and he would just set the pace. The kid just set the pace and we'll all chase him. When it came to racing, his brother and I used to always coach him. We used to always tell him, hey, look, try this, I'll do this, or, whatever the case is. And he never, ever not tried something, which is crazy as shit. Thinking back, it takes a lot of trust,
It does, bro, especially in baseball too, man. You got people telling you, yeah, try this, try that. You're really like, should I really do that? Should I rip the ball like that? Nah, I can't do it like that.
This kid, he's never protested and has tried everything, if not everything and anything.
I think that's one quality that makes you stand out from the pack, bro.
That's how you get better.
That's how you get better.
Because if you think you know everything, you're never gonna get anywhere.
It was a lot simpler to do it from the outside looking in. I was watching him ride and I was like, damn, I used to be able to do that. Or look, I used to do this, try this. If it worked for him, great. If it didn't, he kept telling me no, it didn't work for me. But he never he never had any issues with none of that. You know,
Exactly.
coming from his older brother, all right, because, you know, technically speaking, the kid's 19. I'm
Yeah.
27. When he was a lot younger, we would ride at Opalaka together on little dirt bikes and, you know, mess around or whatnot. But we hanging out. Now I'm hanging out with the kid a lot more. And it's just because we both got a common love. We both got common goals. I want to see him, you know what I mean? I want to see him at that next level.
Yeah.
I know he's got what it takes. So when it comes to training and all these things, we kind of push each other. But back to what I was trying to get to, he actually does that for me now. You know,
Okay.
this year when I was the one I was at a slower pace and I couldn't get up to speed, he'd be like, hey, you know, Junior, try this, or, you know, you're doing this, do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, it was amazing. Like, somebody I helped coach, you know, because his father's fast. His father was fast. His father raced with my father.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, it's just like a family thing, and it just this year it all came together. You know what I mean? Like,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Man. When you got a team like that, bro, take it as far, and I hope you guys make it all the way up
I
there
appreciate
and win
it. Yeah.
at the
Appreciate it.
highest fucking,
Yeah, bro.
Appreciate
You're
it.
at
a
the
team.
highest MotoGP race, bro.
the kid's worth it.
On to the next topic.
Yeah, let's jump on.
We're gonna talk about awareness to
Autism.
autism.
Autism awareness.
I know right now, this whole thing they're trying to make this a thing right now is kids that have autism, give them a blue basket.
A blue pumpkin.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I think it's
I'm all for it too,
So
man.
explain that. Explain what that means. What's the purpose?
Okay, I'm gonna jump off to like personal experience.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Like we've had situations. My son being autistic. You know, earlier on in his life, there's sometimes like it's more of a. It's hard for them to control themselves or certain things, so if they don't get a candy they want, or, you know, whatever the case can be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people when they go, you know, these kids who go trick or treating, a lot of people, since they don't know, you know, some could be a little harsh or cold. We've experienced it where people don't know my son's autistic, and they'll make comments or remarks. You know, my son's mother and I have always been, you know, very open to these things. We never let it affect us in any way, you know what I mean?
Of
So,
course.
correct, you know, so we just kind of went forward with it. You know, the whole blue pumpkin thing, I think it's awesome. It'll at least have everybody, at least, you know, they'll be a little more conscious about their approach, their comments or their approach to kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because out of a group of 10, you really don't know any situation.
Yeah, just
No,
looking
I
at some
agree.
kid, you don't know
You
he's
can't,
autistic.
you can't tell, you know,
I
certain
agree.
things.
I
So
agree
I'm
100%.
100% for the blue. It should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah. I think it was a couple months back, you did a walk for autism.
Yeah, we've got into it. It sounds horrible, but I don't remember the first year we did it. But when we got into it, it was just more of a, you know, our family trying to show a little bit of support. You know, for the most part, when we got, you know, when we found out when he got diagnosed, you know, we kind of accepted it the way it was, but there were a lot of, you know, other things going on as well it was kind of rough on the whole family, on both families, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we did the walk. I think it was great. It's for a good cause, you know what I mean? A lot of people come together, show support, you know, it's nice. I think it was a nice thing to get back to
That's great. Like I think like kids that have autism, they have this special talent, but it might not be one thing, but they got a special talent. It could be singing, could be sports, could be drawing, could be anything.
Before my son became vocal, sorry for cutting you off.
No,
before
you're
he
good,
became
you're
vocal, there were a lot of times where I would look at him and be like, you know, I wish I knew what was going on or what he wanted, because he always had a hard time expressing himself. So my son's issue to date is his behavior. You know, if he doesn't get something a certain way, it's kind of like lights out. You know, everybody's gonna feel the wrath. That shit gets crazy. You know, so growing up the way I grew up, you know, we're all Cuban. If you misbehaved in your household, what would have happened?
Leña.
You got the belt. You get the belt.
Exactly. So in the beginning, it was tough. And when it comes to disciplining, even now, not even in the beginning, now he's 6 years old and it's still tough, because there's a lot of things that he does is like, that was a little asshole-ish.
Yeah,
you know?
It's
you
a little.
You don't know it's
You
like.
crossed the line just a
Yeah,
tad
just a
bit,
tad
bro.
bit.
You're lucky. You're
So
lucky. Beat your
I'm
ass.
you know, being the way I was raised, not that I'm against it, but we do measure ourselves when it comes to discipline. We do try different things. You know, his mother and I work together great. My mother has been an angel. She's been able to, you know, watch my son go to school, and then she'll be able to pick him up. Having her there, you know what I mean? It's just all around. My sisters, her, you know, my son's mother's family. It just, everybody came together perfectly almost. You know, like we probably all don't get along the best, but when it came to the kid, I mean, he's never missed anything, or he had never really needed anything that we haven't been able to provide for him as a whole, whether it be his grandma on his mom's side, my mom. You know, it's just when you got a tight knit family or something like that happening for this, like this kid is just.
Everybody came in together for him. Put the differences aside, whatever problems we have.
Correct.
Goes to the side. First thing is, how do we handle this and do the best for the child?
Man, like everything's.
So one
great.
of the questions I have is for like people that don't know anything about autism. Sometimes like what were like some of the first signs that you started noticing, like, okay, maybe, you know, how would you detect or know, like, should your child have autism or be on the spectrum somehow?
The first things first, my son's mother was the one that was very on top of it. You know, we had, like, for example, my mother, my sisters, my grandma, my aunts, you know, everybody would make certain comments that he wasn't, you know, there was things that he was doing that wasn't, I guess, normal, so to speak. And but for myself, it was never, you know, I mean, you're looking at your kid, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that I was ever in denial, it's just, I know situations where, you know, my parents were growing up and, you know, kids then wouldn't talk till 4 or 5 years old, and they would just say, "Oh, he was a little delayed." You know,
I didn't start talking like full sentences till like I was 3.
There you go.
Sure.
So
my parents thought I was fucking blind because I didn't show any emotion. My mom thought I was blind. It's like, hey, this kid's not even laughing when I do something funny, and he must be good. He must be blind.
That's actually what we were dealing with Machito. My son would actually, you know, we would try to tickle him, he wouldn't, and. There's a very touchy subject about it, but which I'm not necessarily, not that I'm not willing to cover it, but because I'm not very, I mean, I'm somewhat informed, but I'm not, you know, a guru at it, or I don't really, you know, I've never really dissected it.
Of course.
I'll stray away from.
Yeah.
I can say how I personally feel, you know what I mean, about certain, you know.
Yeah,
things.
just say whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah. Correct. So, all right, I feel like, you know, before his 6-month, you know, vaccine shots and all his other things going on, I feel like, you know, there was things that we would experience and we have on footage because, you know, my family, Hispanics, we record everything. You know what I mean? Like, we were missing the camcorder, but everybody had iPhones, so we have videos that we could date back. And you know, it's like he would make eye contact, he would laugh, he would tickle him, he would joke, and then, you know, from there to about maybe we got him. We went through the early intervention. You know, we went to the mailman center. You know, we kind of, because of my son's mother, she wanted to made the push forward, so we went that route. But up until that point, it was kind of like just going downhill. It was like, now, you know, we got this
after
kid.
the vaccines.
Yeah.
I feel that's up for.
That's a good topic. That's
a great topic.
That's
That's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, I know it is.
You know what I mean?
But that's interesting.
Everybody has their own opinion, their own feelings. Everybody's entitled to it.
Of course.
You know, I'm as open. I can talk about either one of them, and I'm great with both of them.
I mean,
it don't affect me in any way. All I know is that my son got diagnosed with autism. We took care of what we had to. You know, everything they advised us to do. If we felt like was good, we did it. If we felt like, wait a second, would investigate, and then, and when I say we, I mean, you know, I have, like I said, my son has a great team between my sisters and my son's mother and her family, and just they would all get together or whatever they would read about, any studies, anything. You know, they were highly informed. You know what I mean? I was more in for, you know, like, my thing was, okay, whatever it is, let's get it going. You know what I mean? Like, what do we got to do? Okay, what's next? You know what I mean? Yeah, let's do it.
I'm just like that. It's like, whatever needs to be happened, let's do it, and it's going to the next thing. Cause
absolutely.
I just want my kid to be as whole as possible, and just being himself. If that's how he is, I'm gonna support him. This is the way he is, and I love him because no matter what, that's how he is.
100%.
So could you explain a little bit of like what the spectrum entails? Like what's
okay,
low to high function?
What I can't get into about him was the whole, you know, when we found out he was having issues with solids, you know, eating solid foods. Okay. So that was one of the red flags. The whole thing with not making eye contact or not, you know, acknowledging his name, or, you know what I mean? And from my point of view, it was like, you know, damn, we were you would call him by Machito and he would react and laugh and joke, and we went from that to being so blatant, and he'll just look at TV or whatever he was doing, he'll stay stuck on it. He would never, you know what I mean, kind of like look back or react to you. So we lived and experienced that, and like I said, I am personally not saying that there is any correlation or any connection with the vaccines or anything like that. But I'm just stating how I felt at the time. That's what I experienced.
Where you witnessed.
But you want to tell us how you felt.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I did not realize it until my family and even, my son's mother, we would actually go through older videos and be like, holy smokes, like, this is crazy, you know what I mean? Like, and then, like I said, everybody, hit the ground running and we took off with it. But, yeah, it was tough. In the beginning, it was tough.
So what kind of like, what were the kind of like the first steps? Like, what kind of treatments did you have to do for stuff like that? Like,
Looking back, or at least thinking back,
or maybe not back then, but like kind of stuff you do now, to continue improving.
we got him all the therapies he needed. I remember that was one of the first things, one of the first steps we took. When we went to the Mailman Center, we there was something that showed it popped up in his gene that it was like, there's a little deletion, but there were actually, if I'm not mistaken, there was I don't know if it was Duchenne and I can't remember the names. I would have to look it up as well. They're both muscle related, diseases that, the doctors were basically telling me that one of them, my son wasn't going to live past 10 years old, and the other one was past 18 years old. So they were both catastrophic. I found that out at the same time I found out my son was autistic.
Wow.
So my experience with the whole beginning steps was
rough.
Correct.
Yeah, it must be super hard hearing the fact that your kid might not make it past 10 or past 18.
Correct.
Just hearing that alone hearing that right now, I feel horrible hearing that. Cause
imagine being the parent, bro.
Yeah, imagine being the parent of the child.
Doctor's telling you, a doctor, somebody when you think about it, it's like
a
respectable authority, right? Like somebody
that
knows what they're talking about. They tell you,
yeah,
no, your kid's not gonna live past whatever age. You're like, ¿cómo?
Yeah.
What? That's a whole.
So that's what I was dealing with. To me, the autism was so much in the back burner. It's not that I was ever in denial. It was just, I was
worried about something else.
Correct. I was dealing with the stresses of that in everyday life. Because at the time, I was working 100 hours a day. 100 hours a week. I was trying to support my family.
You were like 19 years old, bro.
Yeah, I was actually, I was 21 when my son was born. But, I left my parents' house when I was 19. And, ever since then, like I said, it's been grinding. That whole beginning
stage.
It's a
grind, bro.
Absolutely.
It's an everyday grind where you gotta learn a new thing every day.
And parenting is 10 times that.
Yeah.
Like that.
You want to get into that, like parenting,
No, we can. Parenting, as far as we can stay on topic with the whole autism. It's crazy. It's tough. Because you got outside people like, oh, they're picking at little.
No, I agree.
Whoa,
sometimes you just gotta be like, yo, I can't really do that to him, bro. You gotta understand.
Yeah, it's not that he's my criado. It's just that there's others. You have to deal with the situation differently than with somebody.
I'm tough as shit on him.
Yeah,
I'm tough on them. I don't necessarily, discipline
handicap.
them, but I don't handicap.
Exactly. You cannot handicap anybody. You can.
Because at the end of the day, life is tough, bro. And
yeah, correct.
As he grows up, there's gonna be people out there that don't care if you have autism or not.
Yeah, you gotta perform.
And people are gonna treat you a certain way just from how you perform, how you act, how you interact with the world.
Absolutely.
So if your child is never ready for the hard realities of life, and they've been, in a little bubble this whole time where everything is rainbows and trophies, when they get out there and they're like,
everyone's a winner.
Everybody's a winner.
We spoke about it, and I said, Junior's just like us, because we grew up in that time, when we were in 5 and 6. No, if you didn't play good, you never got the stars in the hat, bro.
Absolutely.
You didn't get the star.
Absolutely.
Bro, when I first started playing with the Air Flyers, I played horrible my first game. I didn't get a star. I saw everybody get something. I'm like, okay, I gotta start playing good. I gotta start doing something.
It triggered.
It triggered that competitiveness to win. Not today. Everyone gets a star. Everyone gets a trophy just for competing, just for participating. And I don't agree with that shit whatsoever because
I strongly disagree.
Exactly, bro.
I don't agree with that shit at all, bro. You need to understand, if you're not if you participate, but if you're not contributing to this win, you're not getting shit.
Absolutely.
People need to be ready for the hard.
And if you lost, you get no pizza.
Oh yeah. My dad was the same way. Hey, you guys lost? Go home.
Yeah.
Go home. We ain't running to La Casita no more, bro.
I see it now. With the kids, you do develop a soft heart for it. You cheer for everybody. You make the little bridges at the soccer games. It's all cute. But I still disagree with the whole everybody gets a first place trophy.
What you gotta do? You gotta bring out those little
stars
out, bro.
Listen, with my boys at home, it's tough because they're being raised amongst a lot of women.
Yeah.
Predominantly women. So it's kind of tough, especially when they catch you doing something like making them go at it type of thing.
But that's the best though. Go at it, bro.
There was a point we had as far as basketball, we had the little playmate things. I used to have like my son's cousin. I have a little cousin of mine. He's my son's age, maybe like 8 months.
Yeah.
6, whatever it is, 8 months older than my son. But he's a big kid. He's stocky, strong. You know, he's like my son's caretaker. How about that? Like he takes care of my son like no other. It's amazing. The kid gets on my nerves because he does a lot of shit that's kind of like you can't whoop his ass, so it kind of like. But you know, I feel it's one of those. Bro. But there was a point in time where I used to always have him dunk on my son, or I try to have my son dunk on him, or. You know, I try to keep it like that, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, grown up with women, it's kind of like, oh, no, que no pelean, or, you know, don't do this.
No jueguen de mano.
When I was younger, I had 2 little cousins, bro. They were brothers, and we were just telling them, yo, throw hands, fight. And, bro, they would go at it, bro. They would go at it, bro. One's older than the other one. The fucking kids would go bang, bang, fucking hit each other, bro. And they'll be like, yeah, we separated. All right, that's good. That's all good.
I grew up with 2 older cousins, so they always kicked my ass. So I was always, but at the same time,
me and Chris were always the fucking people. And like my cousin William were like, yo, Coquito, Pepito, fight right now or wrestle, and they'd wrestle each other, bro. One kid will choke slam another kid, and then they'll just box.
Bro, kids need to get down and dirty, bro. Kids nowadays are super just on a screen the whole time, right?
Yeah, bro.
They
don't have that. They don't have what we had. Bro.
How do you like? So, what do you think about that? About like kids being on screens all the time versus being more athletic, and you know doing stuff. And how does that help with like the autism? Like, is it better for the kid to just be home on a screen tranquilo, or pushing him out there? You know,
pushing him out there.
To push his boundaries.
Push his boundaries.
Yeah, I would say push his boundaries. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, we are in a time where it's like, perfect example. You know, I got 2 little boys living in my house with me. You know, one's 10, one's 6. Well, my son is actually 6, and he's with us every morning. His mom drop him off. You know, we get him ready for school and all that. In the mornings, the other 2, you know, on laptops or iPads. You know, even if I tried, or even if my mother would try to get my son not to want an iPad, it's like first thing he wants is like, oh, where's my iPad? You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, they're all one. You know what I mean? I try to smack him in the back of the head. You know,
because that's the thing is, the things are seeing other kids. It's a natural thing. Seeing other kids now just being on iPads everywhere.
Yeah, technology naturally, you know, kids are gonna adopt technology fast, right? It's fun, it's entertaining, you know, but parents need to start stepping in and be like, hey, how about we go outside and play some sports, you know, get some physical activity in than just screen time, because it's easier for a parent to just, hey, cállate, or just be quiet for a while, here's a screen.
And that's what I feel like most parents do. Most parents just be like, yo, just sit there, sit in the corner, here's your iPad.
I'll tell you what, it's a Miami lifestyle thing, because if you think about it, we all work crazy amounts of hours. We all, you know, get caught up in everyday living, and moms and dad, or whoever, you know, you gotta cook, get the kids ready. Well, let's start from the beginning, you know what I mean? Like, for example, in my household, it's like my mother carries a lot of weight, my father helps out, my sister lives a block away, pobrecita. She comes in the mornings just to make sure that the boys' mornings are going smooth, and neither one of the 3 boys are hers. Not her, you know, she didn't birth them or none of that. It's just, like I said, it takes a village to raise a kid, so we all kind of pitch in, but, you know, it does get, you know, it's kind of hard if you think about it. Like, you know, I get out of work, for example, we'll talk about it any given Wednesday. The kid, you know, the 2 little ones have soccer practice. We get out of work, the boys get out at 2 o'clock, they all want their hour break. If you try to take their hour break, is the autistic one, the non-autistic one, the older one, everybody's throwing tantrums. Everybody's throwing tantrums, you know what I mean? So you got to give them their little hour. Then, you know, if I get out of work a little early.
Yeah, I agree, because I was like that as well, bro.
Fuck yeah, who wants to do it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Not even, because we played baseball growing up. My dad, when he got home from work, we always had a sub-schedule. I knew what time he was getting home from work, and I told him, all right, he would tell me we'll go to practice at 6. And every day at 6 o'clock, we went to the field and practiced. And if I didn't get that 6 o'clock fucking time, bro, I would be out at that field, upset, super pissed, because I didn't have that time to chill. If my dad got home early, he'd want to go practice. I get it, you know, you're home, you're tired from work, and you just want to go get it done.
Yeah, our parents are troopers, bro.
They did it, bro. They did it, bro. They did it every single day, day in, day out.
Shouts out to our parents.
Yeah, bro. Shout out to our parents on that one, because
we were blessed.
They grind it out every day on that one, bro.
Yeah. So what is it like? Back to autism and stuff like that. Like, what is it like to like how do you go about like, okay, you know, if your child has a certain type of boundaries, like let's say he doesn't like going outside or he doesn't like running or something, I don't know, you know,
Or like loud noises.
or loud noise or something. How do you go about trying to push those boundaries? Like, what would you do, or like, what do you do now?
Loud noises is a good one because that's one of the ones that does affect him the most. But it's crazy because it depends. It really honestly depends on him. Like he'll be at a party and the other kids are playing. He's running around. Nothing is wrong. Everything is he's groovy.
Like fireworks or something like that.
Fireworks do scare him. The banging and all that do scare him. We put muffs on him this past year. And I sat him in my work truck, and I had the time of my life with him inside. He was cracking up. He fell in love with the colors. It was his first real experience because normally he would be so scared he'd want to be in, or we'll take him to the Mylander Park and do it, but from the car because he didn't want to be outside and hear the big banging. And even in the car, he would kind of cover his ears or whatever.
Yeah.
So as far as pushing their boundaries, I kind of just let it be. You know, I mean, we're Cuban.
Yeah.
Hispanics throw party every other goddamn week.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, we let it ride. You know, we'll get to a party and if it doesn't bother him, fuck it, the kid's doing good. You know what I mean? But he has his days, man. It's like all of us. Sometimes we want to, you know, deal with people. Sometimes we're like, you know, fuck them. You know,
exactly.
Like, or sorry for that, but
No, that's great.
Cool,
We curse on here all the time.
well, yeah. So you know, it's a lot. There's a lot like that. And as the older my son gets, you know, is like I said, a lot. It's borderline. It's funny because I catch myself like I'm over analyzing type of person. Like I'm very analytical. I kind of like pay attention and trying to see things. I've always been that way. Baseball, racing, whatever the case is, everything in my life I overanalyze everything. And the little fucker sometimes is kind of borderline, you know, asshole-ish or autistic. You know, like, well, what are we today, buddy? You know what I mean? Like, he walks a fine line. He has his sisters.
He's starting to learn that shit. He's starting to learn that, okay,
yeah,
I could get past this much,
absolutely.
and I could walk this line, and I could move a little bit left, and I can move a little bit right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where we're at. You know what I mean? As far as him.
But I think that all comes with age, though, man. It all comes with age. You know, you
Yeah,
start
it does.
learning new things, and you start saying, you know what, fuck it, I could do this a little bit, and then I can not.
Like
not do
you know, like everybody goes to, as you get older, you start pushing the
yeah, you
boundaries.
start pushing the boundaries just a bit. Like how we did with our parents,
Of
bro.
course.
Like when our parents would tell us not to go out.
Or climb the tree at HA.
Or don't climb that tree at HA. Bro, that was the hangout spot.
Yeah, we were always up there.
Yeah,
we were always there.
We
bro.
get caught, have to get down, that disappear, we go right back up.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's been cool. You know, I'm not gonna say like I've enjoyed every minute of it because it sucks to see your kids. Sometimes you feel like, you know, you feel certain ways like, damn, what the fuck's going on? Like, what can I do for him? You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like. Is to me at least the way I try to take it, and I try not to. I'm not stress everything, but that's my father's genes. I could thank him for that. You know what I mean? Like, I just kind of let him. It's a day-to-day thing. You know what I mean? I mean, he lately we just swapped schools, but his previous school, and you know, not to name names or anything, but he was getting 6 homework pages a night, and then I read it. You know what I mean? 30 minutes or 45 minutes I read it. The kid, by the time 5-6 o'clock rolled around, he was done. Like if he was a little more disrespectful, mentally exhausted, and he was just throwing fits. And you know, we recently just swapped him out of, you know, from that school and we put him in another school. That school actually, the principal, everybody, they behaved amazing with us. You know what I mean? Like that, I could say we haven't had a bad experience.
The old school or the new school?
The old school. And the new school received us arms open type of deal. The old school, the principal behaved amazing with us. His teacher as well, I like to say, I only met her once, but I like to say that, you know, she did look out for my son as much as she could. And I think, you know, when it comes to any kid with special needs, it takes, you know, at home we give them X amount of love, but, you know, if their work or their school or whatever the case is, if they're not being treated such, you know what I mean, they kind of regress a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's one thing I could give, that we were blessed that my son he was having kind of traumatic, you know, his first month or two of school were kind of traumatic because they were like no tolerance school or whatever, so whenever he misbehaved, we were getting called every other day. Like my mother luckily my mother lived not too far, so my mom could pick him up from school.
Yeah, that's
so
tough.
we dealt with that for a little bit.
It's tough, man.
You gotta understand, you know,
there's
one thing. Different cases, the kid's not misbehaving because he wants to,
or
because he doesn't know how to behave. Well, it's just because, you know, like you said, like they get stimulated in a different way, and then they don't know how to handle that exactly. You know, and things happen.
One of the things I heard about, you know, and like I said, it's not to me. I'm not a problematic person, so I'll never make it a big deal. But if we're all normal, regular people. if four or five people approach you at the same time and corner you, how are you gonna react?
Yeah,
if you corner a line, what's gonna happen?
No, of course. If I got 4 or 5 people cornering me, and it's like,
and you don't understand,
I'll be defensive.
You don't understand why these people are doing it. You're not familiar with these people.
Correct.
You're like, what the fuck?
It's your first day.
My son experienced that once or twice in the school, and luckily, like I said, these people, they meant no harm.
But they didn't
have the resources to really, you know what I mean? So we understood all of that. We all worked together. We everything got done, I want to say at a timely fashion. I think things got done.
And that's the big thing about awareness, right? It's like the reason for it is for teachers and other people to be aware of how to deal with certain things with certain people. Not everybody, you can't approach, an autistic kid or anybody, 4 strangers, head on and then expect them to act the way you wanted them to act. No, these people are going to act different like anybody else that is being cornered by 4 strangers.
Of course.
They're going to act out. They're going to, not calm down. Who's going to be calm in a situation like that? Mm-hmm. So they need to be aware that it's like, okay, we got to have the resources and the training of, okay, this child is autistic or this child is somewhere on the spectrum, or they're high functioning or low functioning. We should do this, we should do that. That's not attacking, 4 people.
Well, I would like to shout out my son's mother, you know what I mean? Because she's always been very on top of the ball. So, a lot of the things that we experienced, were kind of expedited as far as like the school situation goes. Like the principal, there were things that she was saying. We've had, meetings where we're in there and I'm practically lost. They're throwing around big terms. I'm like, well, that's not a 1,000, and that's not breaking, lead it to a corner. I lost this full thinking about racing. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree, because if I was put in that situation, I'd just be like, sorry guys, my head's in a different spot.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking about tonight's baseball game or tonight's football game or the basketball game tonight. I'm not thinking about what's going on.
I was lost as shit, bro. But luckily my son's mother was, on her shit. Like she was on, P's and Q's. She was on it. You know what I mean? So the principal acknowledged that. The counselor acknowledged that. We had a meeting with board members and all kinds of stuff, and they all acknowledged that, and it was a great feeling. You know what I mean? Like I said, it was awesome. It was good.
Getting the support.
Yeah.
So one big question I have is, like, what kind of treatments do you do for autism? How do you progress them from an early age to deal with different sensations?
That's a great question.
We're all athletes here, so I'm a practically, or best say, coaching. You know what I mean? Like, in honesty, it's he's got a bunch of therapists that work with him one-on-one. To me, the way I like to look at it, because I'm an athletically inclined person, I think of coaching. These people are showing my son there is no cure for autism.
Yeah,
there's only showing him how to be a better him, which is practically any parent's goal.
And to practice.
And to practice. They teach him. They right now they're teaching him ways how to cope when he has a meltdown. They're teaching him how to cope with it. Right now, my son's biggest issue is his behavior. You know what I mean? So we got, everybody's working around the clock, helping him with that situation. I feel like he's doing good. There's things that he does at school sometimes, like one of the things where him running away, that, honestly, my son will take 2 steps from me and I'll be like, I'll tell him, oh yeah, and he'll know, he won't really, try me. But there are times where he'll try to run from me and run around like the couch. So, on a school ground, it can be dangerous or whatnot, you know what I mean? But, so like I said, man, it's
yeah,
that reminds me of a fucking memory when I had a kid in my class, bro, ran off of school grounds, bro.
That's dangerous.
I'm in 4th grade, bro, and this kid ran out of school grounds, bro.
Imagine, man, especially when you're with autistic, because they're feeding some type of stress or some type of sensation that they don't know how to handle.
They want to just get away from it.
Logical thing is get away from it. I want to get away from here to get
exactly
back to my normal thing.
It's fight or flight. And
exactly.
They get that flight. It was just get away from there.
That's exactly what happened. So like I said, man,
but at least he understands that fight or flight. Let me not fight. Let me just get away from the situation. That's a good quality to have.
Borderline, because my son tiene la mano suelta. Lately he's kind of like tiene la mano suelta. So we're correcting that before it does become an issue. You know what I mean? So. Like I said, back to the whole, it's definitely a coaching thing. They're teaching him how to be better. I mentioned the whole.
No, man, you could be the next UFC fighter, bro.
Shit, I wouldn't doubt it.
Next
bro.
you'll see five
Whatever.
the next gonna be.
Same difference. Whatever. Like my son in the backyard shows interest when I'm at least there's times when I'm back there with him.
Yeah.
He'll grab a basketball and hit 4 or 5 jumpers in a row with obviously a little playmate thing.
Yeah.
But he'll hit 4 or 5 jumpers like little fucker. Look at that.
Yeah, bro.
Exactly, bro.
So-
like we were talking about, no handicapping, right? It's
No
like,
handicapping,
that-
bro.
whatever
Just
he's
let him
interested in,
Go
that's
for
where you go for.
100%.
Right now he's
Exactly.
being a little pank about riding bike without training wheels, but we're working on it. You know what I mean? Like
But everybody has fears, right?
Everyone has
People-
fears, bro.
Everybody has fears. So that's
Absolutely.
yes, he might be autistic, but that's also a normal thing.
Absolutely.
Kids have different fears. Some kids are, I'm afraid of heights. I go up in heights. I don't like roller coasters. Bro, I don't like roller coasters. When we were in parasailing, bro, we were out there, I saw this video, I was like, I'm gonna be a little fucking parachute flying over the ocean that high. Fuck that.
Honestly,
shit.
I wish I would have gone with you guys on that
But we
parasailing.
did it.
Parasailing, but the thing was,
But-
I didn't want to end up like this dude, bro. I didn't want to puke, and I didn't want to. I don't want to feel like
I'll
that.
tell you what, that's the first time I experienced it, and like I said, around that time I was going through a real stage in my life. So that weekend was awesome. I did that, but the parasailing, I'm scared of heights too. So
bro.
that was
But we
scary.
did it.
That's
Right?
it,
We
bro.
overcame
That's
our
it.
fears. That's normal. You're
I only
kid.
did it because you did it, so you would have backed out.
I was like, I can't look like a bitch in front of this guy, bro.
Oh man.
I'm easily influenced by the people around. Drake said that, so I'm definitely, you went up, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna have to go up. But.
Yeah, man,
Sounds
so even though your son is autistic, that doesn't mean anything. It's normal. He has a fear of falling, a fear of getting hurt. That's a normal thing, right? So it's like, it's just deal with it like anything else, bro.
It's probably
Like
just
any other
escalating
kid,
more than
just-
what a normal person, quote unquote, would feel. Because we all feel like that, but it's just escalated a tad bit more.
Yeah, different
And that's the
sensations.
different sensations. That's what it is.
And
And
not
that's
know-
that's
not
what I
knowing-
think it is.
Not
I
knowing
think
how
it's
to
different
under,
sensations that they feel that they don't feel comfortable with.
and not knowing how to handle.
And
it.
not
Not
yeah,
knowing how to handle
That's-
it.
that's
That's
the
what
biggest
we're
problem.
trying to teach them how to, how to cope.
Yeah,
How
when you
to
feel
cope.
this type of way, it's like understand that you're feeling this, but you can't do this or that.
Yeah.
This is how you handle it to make this go away. That's like how to rationalize the emotion, the thought, the sensation, whatever, and how to go
Yeah,
about
no,
it. So you guys want to jump into the next topic?
Yeah, we'll jump into how, well, not how, but people raising kids gender neutral. I don't see any benefit in that, and we're following that generation where everyone's feeling offended, and this is where the raising gender neutral kids is coming out of, because people feel offended. And I just don't get it. Like, why not let your 3 or 4, or even not even your newborn, because he's not going to know what he is, but once he's 1, 2 years old,
5,
he's
10,
already-
even
yeah, even 10 years old, they're gonna start understanding. What am I? Am I a boy or a girl? Why aren't my parents telling me? Why is this a whole big secret? What are your guys' thoughts on that? I want to know. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I'll let you take it. I'll let you take it. I'll let you
So
take it.
the way I feel is like you're saying, like if as a kid you believe whatever your parents tell you, right? You think whatever they tell you is 100% true. They can tell you the sky is purple, and you'll be like, the sky is purple because my dad said the sky is purple.
You can't tell Monica that.
No,
My mom purple, yeah, it's definitely purple.
Purple's her thing, bro. She loves the color
You know?
purple. The Rockies, the beepers.
Yeah.
Shit, the beepers, bro. That was a long time ago.
So as a kid, whatever your parents tell you, you believe to be 100% true. So if these parents start raising their kids gender neutral or pushing them more towards the opposite gender of what they are, if it's a boy and you're telling them, oh yeah, you can wear a girl's dress, or yeah, you can do this what things that girls normally do, they're gonna start believing that that's the normal behavior, and then adopt those behaviors, and then they start thinking, oh, okay, so the kid likes playing with dolls, likes wearing dresses, but you told him at the beginning that was okay.
Yeah.
So now he's adopted that behavior, and now you're saying, oh no, my kid's trans, my kid needs a sex change, my kid needs to be on puberty blockers.
And that all falls on the parent, though, because the moment a kid starts saying, I feel this way, when you raise a kid gender neutral, they're still not going to know what they are.
Exactly, right?
So if a kid's playing with a doll, he doesn't know if that's a girl or if it's a boy, he's just playing with it.
Nobody's
And then
born
the
knowing
parent
what
is
they
just
should
like,
and shouldn't do.
Absolutely.
The parent's looking at it like, he's playing with a girl. I get to choose his gender. And that's how I feel about raising kids gender neutral, the parent wants to select what gender the baby is. If they're not happy with having a boy, they're gonna force that boy to be a girl. If they don't like a girl, they're gonna force that girl to be a boy. And I can't really fully agree on raising a kid gender neutral like that, man.
Me personally, I don't have any friends or anybody, I don't really know anybody that's going through that that are raising a child gender neutral. But I kind of feel like, you know, as far as raising them gender neutral is a parent thing, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, you know, you can't force your kid to be or do anything, you know, when it comes
Exactly.
Perfect example, my son. I wish the fucker would have liked baseball, you know what I mean, or motorcycles. But it's the complete opposite. Just like,
Just give him time, bro.
if my son would have played with dolls, personally, I would have been like, "De vinga," you know, personally.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, it's like we all speak of, that's still your child. So
You gotta teach him right from wrong.
absolutely, I just think the whole gender neutral thing is more, you know, is a touchy subject. So I don't want to offend none of our.
No, don't even worry about it.
No,
This,
I mean,
this
it
right,
is what it is, right?
we have already warned our podcast fans and our listeners. This right here, if you feel offended, this podcast isn't for you, so you're able to say whatever you want.
Okay,
Oh,
so
Everybody has their opinion. We have
Yeah.
ours. They might not agree, but it's our opinion. You know?
Absolutely.
Simple as
So
that.
I'd definitely say there's a couple of whacked out people out there that see a kid playing with a girl doll and be like, damn, I want my kid to be, you know, my father would have called me when I was 4 or 5.
Sure,
I used to play Barbies with my sister and
Beat.
things.
Bro.
I used to be Ken, and then when my sisters went around, my little perverted ass was doing, you know.
Yeah, me too. I'll do the same
You know,
exact shit,
so
bro.
my father would have walked in, I was playing with a Barbie, she would have broke loose. You
Sure,
know what
let
I
me
mean?
tell you
And that
this shit,
didn't
bro.
mean that you were
That I was
transgender
trans-
Yeah,
or
no,
anything
man.
like that, right? So, like,
I agree,
one thing I
right?
want to say is that, you know, if you raise your kid as a boy, right? Like, you raise it according to the gender that it was born as, right? Because the big thing that they want to do is they want to deassociate gender and sex. They want to make, they want to make it different, right? So, like, yeah, it's like, no, it's the same thing. You're born with a gender. Gender is not human made. We didn't decide what's a boy and what's a girl. No, we're biologically a man or a female, male or a female. You know, there's no going around it. You can't go around.
Yeah,
the
no.
science.
People are
I
trying
love
to
that.
change the science around and say,
Yeah, and then-
all right, just because you got a penis doesn't mean you're a boy.
If you raise a boy,
or you're a girl. And I kind of understand what they're trying to get to because I'm a very understanding person, but I can't get around that concept. Like, yo, from the beginning of times, a boy is a boy, a girl is a girl. You cannot tell me that you're a girl and you got a fucking dick. Alright, you can't tell me that.
Let's say
If you
all
feel
right,
like it, you're a transgender. That's
I'm
your
not
problem,
saying that
but-
transgenders shouldn't exist, right? That's their own problem, right?
No, that's their own.
that's their choice.
It's all a psychological problem that they have.
Correct.
And I can't bash on it. I won't bash on it. But it's all a psychological problem. But you can't tell me, yo, I'm a girl because I want to be a girl. I'd still call you a fucking guy.
That's different. That's like adults, right? That's interactive. But when it comes to kids, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to kids, if you have a son and you raise him as a boy because he was born a male, if this kid is transgender and later on in life, no, I feel like I'm a girl and I want to be a girl. Later on in life, when this kid grows up and he still feels this way, he has the right to go and do his thing and become a female, right? But I don't think that we should take that choice away from them at a young age and just assume that a kid understands the consequences of what that really means.
I
right?
agree.
Because when you
And
talk
that's
to a
what parents-
7-year-old or a 10-year-old, are you a boy and a girl? They can easily say anything. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't really understand
Yes.
the
And
consequences
that's
of
the parents
saying
taking.
I am a girl.
That's the parents
They don't
taking
know
their
it's
will
like, oh
away
yeah,
from the kid. Though.
let's get
That's how I feel. The parents are taking the will away from their kids. Like, yo, what do you want to be? It's like, oh, I don't know. And then they start dressing them however
What's
they want.
what's something that we've always heard about when we're kids? Kids are sponges. They absorb everything.
Everything,
So
yes.
if you're telling them that they're a female, or you're telling them they should be a female, or they should be a male, and we should do this puberty blocker stuff, and we should transition you, they're just gonna be like, okay, sure, okay. They don't know what's
Yeah.
really happening.
Yeah, I agree.
And you know, they don't understand the consequences in later in life. So if they are transgender, that's fine. You know, they have whatever other treatments that exist. You know, go to psychologists, learn how to deal with it, and if they
As they get older.
older, and you
I
know,
agree.
but nothing chemically that can enhance them, right? They're still gonna be biologically fine. They're not gonna be pumped with any chemical, Let them keep growing up, you know, understanding, okay, you are a trans, you know, that's fine. If you want to dress like a boy or you want to dress like a girl, you know, that's up to you. But nothing chemically inducing into the body that's going to have some kind of biological effect on them, right?
Yeah, which I strongly agree. I disagree with the whole, you know, actually what you guys were telling me about. What was it? The
puberty blockers.
That's mind blowing.
That's crazy. That's
actually
you're chemically castrating your 7-year-old son,
which is
or your 7-year-old daughter.
You know what I mean? Like there's things that they need to feel as they grow up, sensations,
they
sexual sensations as they grow through.
As they grow, they might change their thought, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And it's like they might not ever get that thought process changed if you changed them chemically when they're young, so that when they never hit puberty, they don't really understand. That boy might never understand what it feels like to be aroused when they look at a woman. You know, they're not gonna get those situations when their penis and their testicles don't develop properly because they never hit puberty. Their balls are literally never gonna drop.
Yeah, no,
they're not gonna be producing.
Yeah, bro.
They're not gonna be producing semen.
You'll be kind of surprised, man. Like, look, there's a case out there where the judge had overturned the case. Thank God, because I would have felt bad for the 7-year-old boy.
Yeah, but briefly
from the beginning,
that
doesn't know. There's the case out there for I forgot his name. Save someone's penis. Save the kid's penis. That's exactly what it is.
What?
They have it out there. Save the boy's name. Save his penis.
Okay.
And that's people that think like us. The LGBTQ family or their culture. They want him to transition to a girl because the mom wants him to transition as a girl.
It shouldn't be the mom's decision.
No, it shouldn't. It should be a kid's decision.
14, 15,
yes.
18.
When he's 18,
7-year-old
age,
whatever.
He can do it.
It's a 7-year-old boy.
It's
a 7-year-old boy. His mom dresses him as a girl every time he is with her. The parents are separated. They're getting a divorce and they're trying to see who gets full custody or who gets custody of the child. And every time the boy's with the mom, she dresses him up as a girl. And
gives him a different name.
Yeah, gives him a different name.
I don't know what his real name is.
Yeah, I don't remember his real name.
But they transitioned him to Luna. That's his female name.
And when he's with the dad, he dresses as a boy. He plays sports. He talks about boy stuff, does boy stuff. And the jury voted on the mom having custody and transitioning the kid because the mom wants it. The dad was being punished to pay for the transition and be okay with what's going on.
Support. You know what it is to see your kid gonna
that
have
you know,
a sex
not
change?
because of
that,
him.
no, because of the fucking. And the craziest thing is, the mother is a fucking doctor, bro. A fucking doctor. So she should know her shit. So she has to understand.
You would assume.
You would assume she knows her shit and understands things, because she's a fucking doctor. But apparently not, bro. I'd fucking revoke her fucking certificate of fucking being a doctor and be like, yo, give me your shit. You're fucking crazy, bro.
The jury, so like you were saying that the jury gave the right to the mom,
which is fucking crazy.
Right?
When you think about it, there's
nobody
so many people who agree with this woman. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, all these people agree that this kid at 7 years old should transition, and that's completely okay. And then, but the judge overturned it because the dad had video evidence, right? He was recording his son and just asking him basic questions like, what are you? Are you a boy or are you a girl? He said, I'm a boy. Do you like girls? Yeah, I like girls. And then other questions like, what do you do with your mom? Or why do you wear dresses? Because my mom puts them on me. So it was showing that he was only behaving certain ways because he was trying to please his parent. So he was dressing like a girl and doing girl things because that's what his mom asked him to do. And as a kid, you don't want to get in trouble. You want to do whatever your parents tell you. If your mom is telling you this is okay to do, and she's telling you to do it, you go and do it, right?
Yeah.
But does it mean that you identify, or how can adults take a kid's choice of I identify as this or that at 7 years old, at 10 years old?
I've always been around kids, and I got my oldest godson, the one that I'm, he's living with me right now. He's 10. He's a very wise 10-year-old. He's 10 going on 15, and the kid's just, well aware of his surroundings, and he's up. You know, if the
Yeah.
kid were to tell me something like whatever, okay, from him I'd have to swallow it and be like, okay, you know, what's our next step? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But as far as
Yeah, no, I
anybody
agree
picking
on
anything for any child, then again, this is up for discussion. You know what I mean? But
And even if the kid does say, right, I'm a transgender, but he's 7 years old, 10 years old, and he says, I want to be a girl. Right?
supporting your child is one thing. Choosing for your child is
But even if your kid did say that, right? Even if your kid did say at the age of 10, 11, whatever, I want to be a girl or I want to be a boy. How can you say, okay, let's do that? You don't. This kid. It's like saying, if you say that you can allow kids to decide their gender, right, and have a full operation, puberty blockers, all these chemicals, all these processes to do that because you believe that a 10-year-old or 11-year-old knows what they're talking about. Might as well let them vote, right? Why don't kids vote? Because they're not mature enough, right?
That's a good
You
point.
have to be
Very good
18, right? 18 is when you're somewhat mature enough to go out there and vote for political debates. We don't let kids do that, right? We don't let kids
Yeah.
drive.
We
Right?
don't drink.
We don't let 10-year-olds drive. We don't let kids
cigarettes.
But
drink.
now, what do you do with that 10-year-old? You know, you love this kid to death, and they tell you something like that. You know, okay, you know, like let's say you don't show support,
man.
No, but I'm saying not showing support. What happens if that kid at 14, 15 starts popping grandma's pills because he no longer wants to exist because he feels like he should have been a girl? And
Alright,
nobody
so
listened to him.
so I understand, right? So if my kid were to say, yo, I'm a girl or I'm a boy, right? Okay, that's what you're saying, right? Take you to a therapist. You know, have you deal with the process, truly understand what it is that you're saying. Talk to experts, you know,
Yes.
that give you some type of
Yes.
therapy
Great.
to make you understand. Do you know
Great
what you're
point.
really saying? Like, do you know what this really means? You know, but never take any full step to actually transition.
Don't skip therapist.
transition
Don't just
you
jump into transition.
into things like that
Take-
after the
talk to
until the kid.
talk to therapist, talk to psychologist,
You know,
Cheers to that.
and
yeah, man, like,
go
you
on
know,
from that
deal
step.
with
That's
it
that
mentally.
should
Deal
always
with
be
it.
step
why,
one.
Why are you saying that you're a girl? Why are you saying that you're a boy? You know, why do you think you behave like that? Why do you think you really are where you biologically are not? You know, and all these questions and absorb and, you know, deal with these questions for extended periods of time. And then as this kid gets older and older, and if he still believes that this is the way, and, you know, after all these treatments and discussions feels this way, okay, then when you're of age, you go do what you want. You know, you don't. But let's not. What I don't agree with is a kid says, "I'm a girl," and tomorrow they want to start pumping him with chemicals.
Yeah,
It's like, how can
There's
you? How can
a
you take
step
that?
missed in that.
You
There
can't,
should
you can't
be
take it at
steps.
face value. You have to assess
Even
the
doctors,
situation.
doctors should be. That should be the first step. Doctors should say like, "Yo, okay, if you want to transition to a girl, okay, let's go to a therapist first. That's not. Let me not just give you."
But the
like,
problem-
But that's where doctors bring in. It's all money. They want. They're doing it for the money, so they're okay with it because of money. But if you're a real doctor and you want to help out the community and you want to help out kids and help out parents, do a steps. Go step one, talk to therapist. Step two, if therapist doesn't work, okay, you know what? You gotta deal with it now. You know,
I mean,
kid really wants to be a girl because that's how he really, really feels. Because at the end of the day, you got people that feel like they're girls and they're boys. Fuck it, bro. Sometimes you just gotta swallow that fucking fat ass pill and be like, okay, you know what? My kid wants to be a girl. And that's what he truly, truly feels inside. We talk to therapists, we talk to professionals. Fine, we'll go on to transition.
Well, see, personally, I've had friends who, you know, through conversation, they're gay, but they felt like at an early age that they were like, you know, I was supposed to be a girl, but they never went ahead and, you know, went that route. They are gay, you know, they're, you know, all of that, but they never went ahead and, you know, at 10 years old, their parents didn't take them to go do the whole, that shit is mine, you know, the whole.
But that's this whole new generation, though. It's this generation of.
it's not the generation. It's this movement of transgender.
I think it's the parents,
stuff, right?
or the parents already. It is a generation.
It's a generational thing because it all happened because our parents. If we would have fucking told them, yo, I feel like I'm a girl.
Yeah.
Or if your mom or your dad saw you wearing one of your sister's shirts,
There was a lot of. It was an ass whooping and an explanation.
A big
First came the ass whooping, then the explanation after.
For
Yeah,
sure.
but
And then an ass whooping after the explanation. At least for me. That's how it would happen.
Fuck yeah.
So like I agree with the whole
Sure.
therapist thing, right? That's what you should do. But also the problem with that is that these therapists are all part of this situation where they don't want to say no, right? They don't want to take a kid and say, hey, you're not a transgender because of this, because of that. You know, you shouldn't feel that way. They don't want to say they don't want to discourage the behavior, right? Because if they do, they're transphobic.
They're transphobic, and then
there's something.
And then
so
they get bashed.
So the kid, so
which is the worst.
the professionals are instantly like, oh, you said that, you identify as that. We have to take your face, your value. What's the word? The word to face value. Just because you said it, that's what you are. We can't say no or try to discourage that behavior. That's what this.
All this
yeah, bro. Like parents need to talk to their kids, bro, and really.
I think that's the thing, bro. Like I had like on was it on? I think it was on Facebook. I shared a topic of people detransitioning. And our girl was telling me, yeah, man, if I let my child at 7 years old transition into anything, she'd transition to a Pokemon. It's fucking true. Like, kids will transition to anything.
Yeah, for sure.
And the craziest thing is that people
could,
kids could identify as anything they want. If they want to identify as a fucking dog, they identify as a dog. If they want to identify as vampires, I'm a fucking vampire.
So what you were saying about, what I'll bring up with that, and what you said about like people that are gay or whatever, they identified as something when they thought they were something when they were younger, but then they realized they weren't. A perfect example is, I don't know if you know this actress Ruby Rose.
No, not familiar with.
Do you
She's
know?
a fine lesbian, bro.
Have you seen the John Wick 2? Have you seen John Wick 2?
I'll take his word for it.
Got a lot of tattoos.
You're gonna have to show me a picture.
You know, I've seen John Wick 2.
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
I'm familiar with them.
But she's an actress, right? So
she's got the looks, but like she's
just
beautiful.
Google her.
Bro.
So, all right, look, that's her, bro.
This is her. I'll show you. Bro.
She's
got that.
She's a well-known
face,
actress.
Like,
she
looks beautiful, bro.
I don't know if she's gender fluid or she's
like. That's someone I could pass off of. Yeah, I could date her.
Yeah,
I don't know how she identifies, whether she's like gender fluid, like she likes both or whatever. I don't know what her situation is, right?
Her sexual preference.
Yeah, but point is, she publicly stated that when she was younger, she wanted to transition. She thought she wanted to be a man, right? She never did it. Her parents never allowed her to do it. I don't know what the whole situation is, but the point is, she never did it. And as she got older, she realized she didn't have to, right? She was okay with who she was physically and accepted, if I do like women, I'll be with a woman. Yeah. If I do like men, I'll be with a man. If I like a guy that dresses like a girl, I'll be with that too. If the girl likes to dress like a guy, and she accepted herself for what she was, and accepted the fact that whatever she liked was okay. It was up to her.
Yeah.
And she lives a happy life. Never had to transition
and doing it, bro.
See, I kind of overlooked one.
I
overlooked one. I actually do have a friend of mine. She was a lady and she's doing the transgender thing now, and whatever. But I mean, messing around. I always stay in contact with her. We don't talk every day, but
she was a female transitioning to male.
Correct. And it's going well for her. I think I see pictures. I think it's going well for her. I do, however, because I'm a fucking jokester, and she's very cool with me, and we joke around like that. But I fuck around with her all the time. And even when she was in the midst of it, I always gave her a kiss on the cheek and hugged her because I knew who she was. But fucking around with her now, I'd be like, hey, listen, don't be walking up to me on a party and kissing me on the cheek. Grabbing my ass. Don't do that no more. You know what I mean? But shouts out to her. I know she's going through it. She's loving the experience. That's from one of our last conversations. Mm-hmm. She's I don't want to say her name or whatnot, whatever.
No, that's fine.
But I from last I from what I have understood is that she's enjoyed the process. She's going through with it. I think she does good.
And she's an adult, right? She's of age.
She actually just started the transition. She's a little bit older than I am.
And have you ever asked her what she felt like when she was a kid and like not transitioning throughout when she was a kid or something
I think that the decision came about well after she was 18, 20 years old. If I'm not mistaken. I mean, in detail we never got. We were close. She was a friend of the family. You know what I mean? So we never got into detail like that. Mm-hmm. At least as far as that question, I never asked her. But if I'm not mistaken, she decided to become a transgender well after the fact. I would assume, because she knew she was gay. I mean, she actually dated a close friend of our family as well. That's how I actually met her, and she came into our family. But after that, that's when she kind of started the transgender, transitioning process.
She probably felt like,
and that's the correct way to go about it, right?
It is.
I feel like she handled it perfectly.
Yeah,
she was grown. She was Yeah,
You
absolutely.
don't feel, you know, like how Bruce Jenner did it to Caitlyn Jenner. Fucking 50-something years old. He said, I've felt like this my entire life. I want to be a woman. And he turns into a woman.
Yeah, bro. You know.
Fuck it. You can't dash.
Publicity stuff.
Public.
That's all.
That's all.
I agree, right? Like,
He wanted to get back in the
those
light,
people-
be with the
yeah.
Kardashians and all that shit. Possibly, bro.
Those people only make money
The
off
fastest
things like
man in
that,
the
right?
world, bro. Turn into a fucking woman. How about that?
But
man?
you
That's
know
fucked.
that like
That's a
scientifically.
sorry for cutting off.
No,
That's
no.
a conversation, or that's a topic for another day. But the whole, the becoming a transgender and then doing sporting events.
Actually, we did have a conversation about
we
that.
briefly
did
talked
briefly
about
talk
it.
Well, that's why. But
We'll make another episode about that. If you want, you can come back and
Yeah,
we'll talk
I'll
about
I'll
that
I'll
because that's
Definitely, bro.
crazy.
Yeah, definitely,
That's-
because we got a lot to say on that one.
There's so many things happening, bro.
There's lawsuits. There's
There women
The
transgender.
only reason why I
banned.
brought it up is because of the
Ban-
last thing that happened. I forgot what was the story. It just recently happened. Maybe
track and field.
was it? I believe it was track and field.
Possibly, yeah.
The guy was breaking
guy was
records.
breaking
Yeah, a
records.
guy. He was un blanquito. He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, little white boy. He
Little
fucking
white
broke
boy
records, bro. He
became-
broke a fucking female's record. Yo, you're a guy.
Word.
I actually have
He's
it.
not a guy.
No, he's a fucking guy. He still has a fucking cock.
No, that's the
Yeah.
thing,
Does
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
see,
so that's the
Still a
thing.
guy.
You don't need to have a sex change to be.
No, you could
A female.
identify as a female.
Once you identify as a female, you're a female. You don't ever have to get a sex change to be a female.
That is crazy.
So
So
that-
I'm not misinformed. I'm actually just I didn't know that. I really didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So in sports or whatever, just in society in general.
I mean, I got a stepdaughter. She's 15 years old. If anybody's gonna ever fight her or compete against her, I would hope that at least bare minimum they chopped his nuts off and took his penis and did whatever they had to do.
You would think,
I
right?
I
would
would
think.
want.
You
But
would think
doctors aren't
it's not required. to
Doctors
be
aren't eligible
transitioned.
or aren't able to.
Well,
Transition.
I'll definitely say that if a guy were to be my stepdaughter in any physical altercation or a
Fucking
sport,
sue,
I'm
bro.
gonna beat the shit out of. No, I'm not suing. I'm beating this.
Bro, because
Well,
how
the thing
crazy
is,
is
you gotta
that?
sue is that
You have a
to get
grown-
legal, to legally
Fuck,
beat
yeah,
them, like, you
you
gotta
You
go
have a
through that
grown
legal
ass
process.
man fighting
That's what I'm
a
saying.
grown ass woman.
Yeah, bro.
That's wild to me.
Put it this
that's
way,
wild.
in MMA, Fallon Fox, a fucking transgender female, fought a regular female, bro, and beat the living shit out of her, and cracked her skull open, bro.
Yeah, bro, how crazy
That's
is it?
stupidity.
Like, come on.
That shouldn't
It's
be
crazy.
allowed.
The
I think
New
at that
York
point they should,
commissioners
like,
fucked it on that one. On that one, the New York commissioners fucked it on that one, bro. They shouldn't have not allowed that shit to happen.
Oh, for sure.
Should have never allowed that shit to happen, bro. You're the commissioner of the MMA league. Can't allow a transgender.
Let's get back to the kids.
Yeah.
But
So, like when we were saying about that friend that you knew, that's the proper way to go about it,
Yeah.
right? Like you're.
I'll tell you what.
scientifically-
There's no proper way, but I'd say more morally correct.
Yeah, it's the best way to
politically
go
correct.
about it because
Politically correct. morally
because
correct.
scientifically
correct
your
yourself.
brain is not fully developed until like the age of 25. You're not fully developed, so you're letting these underdeveloped children that have no other power. Children have never had power to decide anything in all of history, and now you're putting this 7-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old in power of choosing his own gender and transitioning his entire body in these life-changing altercations that would affect them forever. You're like, that's insanity to me.
It's insanity, but I think what's crazier is the parents that push it.
Yeah, the parents that are okay with it. The parents
that's the
that are
craziest thing
down.
because the parents are
The ones
some
pushing
are
it.
our age, probably 31, 32 years old, and they're pushing it.
They're pushing the.
So they're in our generation. They're representing our generation. They're fucking allowing this shit to fucking happen, which makes us look like shit. Makes us look to an older generation. These guys. What do we raise? We raised a bunch of shitheads. And this is what's going on now. This is such a big fucking thing that they're allowing it to
Because
fucking happen.
everybody wants to be politically correct. Nobody
Everyone
wants to say
doesn't.
no.
No one wants to say
Nobody
no,
wants
and
to
no
say,
one wants to
hey,
offend
that-
anyone.
Yeah, nobody wants to say, hey, that's wrong.
That's the
Nobody
big
wants
word.
to be that guy. Nobody wants to be that person to say, I think that's wrong.
Yeah, if you want to get anything in life, say I'm offended.
Yeah,
I'm
everybody-
offended. You got everything handed to you.
You gotta stop. The
Yeah,
world
you
needs to
gotta-
stop what
you
it's
gotta put it on
doing
a silver
because
platter, bro.
they're offended. And it's not that way. There's everything is up for discussion. You know, we got a lot of shit for the last episode we made about abortion. Like, oh, you know, you guys are two guys. You guys shouldn't be talking about abortion. It's like, wait a minute. Last time
but they completely forgot that there was a female there.
Yeah, there was a female with us. Right? We brought a female, so you know, have the female perspective because it's obviously important.
Yeah.
But so were you saying that it doesn't take a man and a woman to make a child? So if it takes a man and a woman to make a child, why does the man have no right in the discussion?
That's feminist. You
gotta
accept it.
But you know what? At the end of the day, a man still has a say.
Everyone
a man still has a say in whether or not they want to have that kid or not. You know, that's how I feel.
It's just everyone should be included in the discussion. There's a lot of the biggest problems lately is that they want to exclude certain people out of the discussion. Like, we're not transgenders. You guys can be part of the transgender.
You don't know what it is. Like, you know what's going on.
You guys don't know what's going on. You guys don't have a transgender kid.
You're not in the LGBT,
if you don't have somebody that's transgender around you, you can't.
Or if you're not gender fluid, then they won't. You can't talk to. You could talk to them, but you can't talk anything about them.
No, you shouldn't be saying what's right and what's wrong.
Or if you feel like, yo, I don't like transgenders, then you're transphobic. I'm transphobic. Mego's transphobic because you're transphobic because we all fall into that category. Yeah, because they think if you don't they should be equal to us and equal to the females. Just because we don't agree with it doesn't mean we're transphobic. We're just saying, yo, this isn't the right thing to do.
Especially when it comes to sports.
Yeah, especially with sports. Exactly. This isn't the right thing to do to the kids. Transition them at such a young age. It isn't right to put them in to do transgender females into sports. It isn't right. You know, you gotta understand there's a right and a wrong to everything, and you gotta find the right time and when is the right time to do things.
That's why I like motorcycle racing. You know, because there's women out there who are way more badass than a lot of guys.
Even in NASCAR, you got Danica Patrick, bro.
You do. We got girls in our. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I like motocross and I like fucking racing, car racing, and everything because you got both genders battling it out.
Correct.
Battle of sexes right there, bro. You know who's the fucking
best. I know girls who are pretty, get their nails done, toes done, and go race motorcycles, and it's.
Shit, dude, you gotta introduce me to some of those girls, bro.
Absolutely.
Introduce me to some. Hey, let me know when they go out, bro. I go out. I want to meet one of those girls, bro. I love that shit.
Because of the way we are or whatnot, it is nice to look at. But I also know girls and they're fast. Some girls are fast, I also know women who get into their own mechanic and fingers all greased up.
I love that shit, bro. That's the best part, bro.
I've seen it all out there,
bro.
But
that's the main point of this podcast, right?
I met a girl once. She drove a Mustang that she built from the ground up, bro.
That's awesome.
And I was like, man, if I lived in Tennessee and I was staying here for the rest of my life, you would be my wife. I told her that. I told her you'd be my wife because.
But did you get laid?
I'm not gonna say anything on here, but I'm not gonna say anything on here. She got a little iffy, but I told her, yo, if I stayed in Tennessee, you'd be my wife. Like, she's really pretty, into cars. She built her own Mustang from the ground up. I like that shit, bro, because I like cars, and if I could relate to someone like that on that level, I think it'd be better, at least for me.
Absolutely.
Sure, man. The whole point of this podcast is just everything is up for discussion. Any topic, everybody is allowed to have their opinion and talk about it, and nobody should be shut down. Like, when I confront somebody that I don't agree with, I'm not gonna say, hey, I don't want to talk to you because I don't agree with you. I think this way. Shut up, you're wrong. No, tell me why you think that way. I might not agree with it, but I want to know why. I want to learn from you and want to understand your viewpoint. And then I'm gonna tell you my viewpoint.
But the community takes offense to us trying to fucking learn for something.
No, not the community. I think
the whole community, the LGBTQ community takes offense to us trying to get a foot in to understand what they're thinking.
I could bring some on that are very fucking cool human beings. You know what I mean? Like,
bro, that'd be great, bro.
I can, and like I said, me personally, my biggest thing on that, at least, with the whole LGBT or whatnot. I mean, it's as far as this is like, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. Respect me. Yeah. You know what I mean? I could be around them. I got a good friend of mine.
You respect me, I respect you. That's the way I am.
Actually, fuck that. I got family. I got cousins of mine that are gay, and they respect the fact that when we're around, like, yeah, I mean, fucking it. We're all drinking and they get a little flamboyant. There's no big deal. Like, fuck it. It's cool. But as long as my cousin's not groping me, grabbing my penis or grabbing my ass or something like that, then I won't have an issue.
No disrespect. And
correct.
Correct.
There's
Don't cross the fucking line.
Correct.
Don't
No,
cross the
it's
line.
just respect.
Yeah, no, it is.
You know, it's just respect.
Respect is that line.
Whether you're in a relationship with your child, your friends, gay or not, family or not.
What type of cousins do you have?
Discussions.
American cousins. They got that American cross street from Alabama or some shit.
Los primos se priman. That's but what I'm saying is, in general, it's just respect.
I like that comment.
Yeah, and that's how it should be with discussions too, right? Respect each other. You might not agree, but have the discussion and talk things out. Talk. Why do you think that way? I've had discussions with people. When I was younger, I was very, I was a big Democrat, right? I was very to the left. But as I've grown, I've talked to other people, and I've changed my mind. Not just about that, but about other things as well, right? Other topics that I thought I knew, or I thought about something a certain way, but I've learned more about from other people, and they're like, oh man, I was wrong about that. You guys were right about that topic, and I agree with your viewpoint. My viewpoint was wrong, and that's the only way people and humans in general just grow.
Evolve, bro.
Can grow is
by
understanding and talking to other people, absorbing new information, processing that information, and then coming up with a new viewpoint upon that information. But people are closed-minded. They're like, I don't want to hear from you. I don't agree with you, so I don't want to talk to you. How are you ever going to learn? How are you ever going to grow? People can't think they know everything.
All right, guys. So you guys want to wrap up this topic real quick and then get on to our final thoughts?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right, guys. What's your final thoughts on raising kids gender neutral and stuff, man?
Man, I think we covered everything I've had to say. I think let the kids grow up. Let them choose for themselves. When they're of age. You know what I mean? If they are younger, take them through the whole. Seeing a psychologist, and everything has its steps. So
yeah, everything has its steps. Yeah,
you both made valid points. And
I agree with you. There should be steps in hand with the doctors. Psychologist should be the first step before transition. Don't just jump into transition. Yeah. First step, psychologist, and then if that still doesn't change the kid's mind, fuck it, fine. Kid really wants to be a girl, but you gotta give it at the right time, though. You can't just say, okay, my kid's 7-year-old, he went to a psychologist, and he still wants to be a girl. You can't just start transitioning there. After 18.
Give it time.
Yeah.
After 18, when you're considered an adult where you can buy cigarettes, fine.
Yeah, don't jump directly into giving him chemicals and blocking his puberty and all this stuff that's gonna, change him for the rest of his life, that you don't know what kind of effects it's gonna have if he wants to stop doing that stuff later on. So that's what I think about it. Tell everybody where they can find you, or what they should know about your racing career.
Yeah, my Instagram, I'm Alex_N_JR or Chris_M413 on Instagram, or Chris Miranda on Facebook, Alex Nieves Jr. on Facebook, or Westside Jose. You can give him a follow. He's cool guy. He owns Westside Performance. Like I said, any needs, anything you need done to your bike, you guys can, go over there, family oriented. Mark 10 Motorsports for the tires, Pirelli, all of our sponsors that helped us get through this year, and, looking forward to the next one.
Hell yeah,
dude. I hope you do good, bro, and keep succeeding and keep going in your career, and make it to where you want to make it.
Agreed on that, man. I hope you fucking make it to wherever you want to make it to, man. Huge support on our end.
Yeah, man. And we're gonna try out that motorcycle thing.
We gotta go out to that motorcycle thing. As well, guys, we're sponsored by the Checkered Butterfly. It's coming out soon. Might be a little pushed back. I know I said earlier in the last podcast it was gonna come out soon, but it might end up coming out mid to early November. Just wait for it, guys. It's gonna be a hot book. Just wait for it.
Yeah, I just want to thank both of y'all. Thank you guys for having me. It was
no,
fun.
bro. Thank you for coming, bro. Any other time you want to come on, bro, you can have you on anytime, bro. And that's it, bro. Then, dale.